You know, going by the schedule that was shared with you, you are meant to start your presentation by 11 a.m. our time, which is 1 a.m. Sorry, 11:45. You know, going by the schedule.
Your line is very bad.
Presentation by 11 a.m. our time.
I'm sorry, I'm really struggling to hear. There's so much echo. I'm struggling to hear what you're saying.
Okay, is the audio better now?
It's better, but I did not hear what the instruction is. There's an echo. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Okay, so we're saying that it would be good for you to have your presentation now, so that we don't take too much of your time since you have to go on to other things.
Okay, that is fine. Now, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I understood this was more of a career mentorship talk.
Yes.
And I can just talk freely. And if I understood your expectation is to just understand the career path, who I am and my career path, and maybe some advice for the people that are following a career in the built environment. Is that the expectation?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay, now just for context, it's always good to know who the audience is. Who do you have in the room? And given those who may be joining remotely.
Yeah, we have recent graduates, so all the ladies in the room.
And I think I'll switch off my video. I can see the bandwidth that. Who do you have in the room?
Okay, the ladies we have here are all recent graduates, that they just graduated from either engineering or ICT related courses in the past year or 2 years.
They're already practicing in industry, or some are still students?
They just graduated and a few of them are still students, so they are still trying to find their pathways into.
Okay, that's good enough context. So thank you very much. First of all, maybe just to express my appreciation and to just say I'm honored that you invited me to come and speak to your audience. It's a privilege that I don't take lightly, so thank you very much. So I think what I'll do is spend about 15 minutes to just give you a background of who I am, the career path that I have taken, seeing that your young professionals that are looking to see how you will progress your career. And then maybe we can do 10 minutes of question time before 2 o'clock. If that's fine, yeah?
Yeah, that'll be very fine.
Okay, so my name is Rose Kananu. I was born in Kenya. I now live in Kenya. I studied civil engineering. So out of my high school career, I had I think I had a dilemma whether to go the engineering route or the architecture route. But I was fortunate enough, my high school used to run career fairs, especially for students that were in their final, either the third or fourth year of high school studies. And we would get to interact with professionals from different careers. So I had an opportunity to speak to a civil engineer. I had an opportunity to speak to an architect. And when I really listened to the career path, I was motivated to choose a career in civil engineering. So I joined the university in 1995, and I undertook a 5-year course in civil engineering. During the course, I had an opportunity to do some internship with the engineering business. And, you know, that was me. We have an echo, I don't know. If you can mute your phone, then if you can, yes. Yeah, so, you know, during the university studied, the way it is structured here in Kenya, the first 2 years, we do practical application on campus. You know, so I got to work inside the practical labs in the university. But in the 3rd year and the 4th year, I joined a consulting firm as an intern, and I was exposed to engineering design work. I graduated in 2000, March 2000, and I was fortunate again. Company, the ExxonMobil is the largest oil and gas company in the world. And during that period, they were in the Kenyan market as Mobil Oil Kenya. And they had an expansion program. So they went to the universities looking for students to join their company. And I was fortunate enough to be forwarded. I was one of the 10 students from my class that were forwarded for interviews at Mobil Oil Kenya when they were recruiting. And 2 of us were recruited. Myself, I joined the engineering department. My colleague joined the procurement department. We're still friends. He's grown a very illustrious career in the procurement space, both in Kenya and globally, and he's back in Kenya now, working for a large bank, one of our large banks. So my first career real job was at ExxonMobil. I was hired as an operations engineer, and I spent the first 2 years like an apprentice. I was attached to a consultant who was a project manager. And in those first 2 years, I was involved in a lot of work designing and reconstructing petrol stations around the country. I was also involved in rehabilitating the fuel storage terminals that belonged to the company ExxonMobil. In 2003, ExxonMobil had an alliance partnership with a company called INSCO Africa. INSCO Africa is a food business. They do retail food outlets. And the reason ExxonMobil globally was looking at partnering with the food company is because they wanted to increase the profitability of their businesses. In those early years, in the 2000s, most of the petrol stations were just that. They were just gas stations where vehicles would go in and buy fuel and leave. But they noticed that a lot of these petrol stations were sitting on large pieces of land, and there was an opportunity to do some real estate development on them. So they initially had introduced a convenience retailing store called Mobil on the Run, which is just a small supermarket inside a petrol station. But they thought that they could expand their offering to the market by adding fast food outlets. So I had an exciting project between 2003 and somewhere towards the middle of 2005, where I was included in a global design team. And we designed that layout of a petrol station that has, you know, the little supermarket, and it has food outlets. And then I became the project manager to implement the first of that outfit in the country, actually. ExxonMobil then was the first one in the country to bring food courts into their petrol stations. So that's where my project management skill set really increased. And, you know, I was coordinating local and international teams, whether it is buying the equipment that was being used to remodel the gas stations or importing kitchen equipment from South Africa. Some of the branding equipment was being imported from South America and Brazil, and I remember Spain. So it was a very exciting project. I learned how to manage large teams. At some point in time, I would be running 3 petrol station projects at the same time, with a combined workforce of about 400 people reporting into my structure. These were the construction workers on site, the contractors, the engineers, the architects. So quite an exciting opportunity, and I was sitting a lot with business people, the oil retailing business people and the food retailing business people. And as I listened to the discussions they were having, you know, as I'm constructing the petrol station and the food court sites for them, I would hear them talking about sales and margins and a lot of business talk, which got me very interested to actually go into an MBA program. So in 2004, end of 2004, I started applying to MBA programs. I was interested in going to study in the US, in the Ivy League programs. So I applied to Harvard, I applied to Stanford. There was also a very good program in Arizona, the Ella School of Business. And I ended up getting invited on a wait list on the Harvard Business School, but the university in Arizona, Ella School of Business, gave me a full scholarship and a teaching assistant role, so I could earn some money. So I opted for that, of course, because, you know, it would have made it easy to finance my business. So I was able to travel to America, and I spent the whole of 2005 to 2007. I went in August 2005 up to May 2007. And in those 2 years, I studied an MBA program, but I also added another course. I took a 1-year diploma program in entrepreneurship. They had a very good, one of the top entrepreneurship schools in the US is housed in Arizona, in the School of University of Arizona, the Ella School of Business. So I also opted for that because it came alongside with my scholarship. My scholarship was able to pay for that extra. So I graduated in May 2007 with an MBA in finance and strategy. And I also graduated with a diploma in entrepreneurship. Now, in sometime towards the end of 2006, I started to think about my career, my next move. So I was attending a lot of career fairs across different states in the US. And I attended one by Global Career Company in Washington, DC. And that's where my next employer found me. Sasol. Sasol is a large petrochemical company based in South Africa. They're actually the largest private investor in South Africa. They own petrochemical plants, both in South Africa and across other parts of the world, in North America, in China, in the Uzbekistan area. And they were looking for engineers and project managers. So although I'd done my MBA, when they looked at my experience of my 5 years in Kenya, they asked that I start off with a role in project management in South Africa, which I did. So I spent the first 2 years in one of their large petrochemical plants and honed my skills in project management. I was in charge of large utility projects, and I got a lot of training, actually. So this was the first time that my career as a project manager was formalized, because I went through a lot of courses and got a lot of certifications. And then in 2009, an opportunity to move into the business side of Sasol came along. One of the executives was introducing a new service offering in the organization called Business Process Improvement, Business Architecture. I'd never really heard of it, but they actually were interested in my project management capability and the fact that I had worked on large construction projects. So I moved from a town called Secunda in Mpumalanga State to Johannesburg, went to Rosebank, and that is where I joined the corporate strategy team, working as a business optimization consultant or business re-engineering. And that's when I got training around business analysis. I got involved in some exciting projects. And then in 2012, they decided to create a global project management office, which was to help build project management capability for their global project management and engineering teams. Sasol is a very large company of over 30,000 employees around the world. The company that I worked for, the business unit that I worked for was called Sasol Technology, which consists of 2,000, mostly consisting of scientists because of the technologies that they develop, engineers, project managers, and process specialists. So I joined the project management team. So in 2012, I was pulled into a working group that was creating a global project management office and a training academy. And I was playing the role of a business architect. So I got exposed to organization design experts and process design experts. We developed the academy, and in that was in 2011, 2012, the head of the academy requested me to stay behind as one of her managers to help her build the team to run the academy. So I did that. We built the team, we developed courses, we developed accreditation programs. And so by 2014, I'd had some very good exposure, moving from project management, engineering type of work, running large construction projects. So by the time the president of Kenya, then we had a new president in 2013, and he had been traveling around the world looking for Kenyans with expertise to come back to Kenya. My apologies, someone's trying to call me on my phone and I'm using it. Yeah, so in any case, I hope you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So in 2013, the President Uhuru, came to South Africa, talked to a group of professionals, Kenyan professionals and business people, and basically made a pitch asking us to come back home and help him develop the country. And I thought that was my opportunity to come back home, having been away for 10 years. So I moved back with my family, but I moved back through an employment with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. I joined PwC Kenya. I was invited to set up project management advisory services department for them. It was a bit slow, so by 2017, I thought it was better to just go out on my own. And that's when I stepped away and started a consulting company. I established a startup company in 2017. The company is called Howard Idevo Consulting. We at Howard Idevo Consulting offer project advisory and project development and implementation support to clients who are developing large infrastructure projects. So to cut a long story short, I've been building that startup for the last 5 years. During COVID, I took a break and went to work for Unilever. Unilever has a team.
So what we'll do is, when she's done, we'll have questions and answers, and then we have this notepad because we're going to dive into an exercise. The exercise is a career mapping exercise. I think you have an idea because we've done something together. So it's just essentially a scenario where you can see how she's talking about how she grew. Do you understand? She did not just start global project management after graduation. It was a process. The other speaker that joined earlier has gone off now. Okay, so let's just continue.
Yeah, so it's I mean, the 5 years have been active, busy, eventful. So now what I'm doing now is running.
I think you're on mute.
You cannot hear me. I've unmuted on my phone. You can't hear.
We're not hearing. We're not hearing.
Let me see. Can you hear me now? I've had to mute the phone that has a video. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, better now.
Okay, yeah, so sorry, what I was saying is the story of the company over the 5 years is another long story, but just to cut it all short so that I can give you an opportunity to ask questions, is that I am now running the consulting company called Howard Idevo Consulting. We offer advisory services to clients that are developing infrastructure, both private investors and government. And at the moment, since October, I'm supporting a client that is developing an industrial city in Kenya, and also looking at other opportunities. So that's a long story of my career life. I'll now pause and take some questions, maybe for another 10 minutes. I can go until 2:10, and then I'll drop off.
Do you guys have any questions for her? Do you want to ask particular questions about how she was able to grow her career or grow her business as an engineer or as a project manager? Do you have such questions?
The question I have is, how was she able to manage the business side and the career at the same time?
Sorry, no, I think you speak up so she can hear you.
Yes.
Halima.
Hello.
Good morning, my name is Halima. Please, my question is, how are you able to manage the business aspect of your life and your career?
When you say business aspect, like now, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so my career now is an entrepreneur. I'm now a full-time entrepreneur. That's my career. The first 12 years, I would say, of my life, I was a professional employed in corporates. So I worked for ExxonMobil. I worked for Sasol as their employee, as a professional. In 2015, I transitioned into a management consultant when I was employed by PricewaterhouseCoopers. So management consultants advise institutions and businesses. And then in 2017, I became an entrepreneur. So I think I've had 3 careers in the last 23 years.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, but I'm an engineer at the end of the day. The foundation that all this is sitting on is the engineer and a project manager. I am a certified project manager by the PMI Global Institute.
Wow. Nice one. Well done.
Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So my question is, what were the challenges you faced, like growing up from your career, that's from school down to where you are in entrepreneurship? What were the challenges you faced as a lady? Because engineering is also a male-dominated field, so what can you share with us?
Yeah, there have been challenges all along. Actually, challenges starting all the way from the university. When I started, there were very few women in engineering. So we were a class of 30 students and only 3 were women. So the first challenge to overcome was for the men in our class, or boys then, to actually have confidence that we were in that room with merit, you know, because very few women. I went to a university that was, I think, almost 85% male. It's a technical school. So they thought that we were in the school from affirmative action. But when we started to perform and sometimes beat them in the classes that we were attending, you know, they accepted and they said, okay, these women belong in this class. When I went to the workplace again, the entire 5 years when I worked at ExxonMobil, I was the only female in the entire Africa mobile teams. All the mobile engineering departments across different countries in Africa had men engineers, men project managers, and I was always the only female. So of course, intimidating, but the first thing I did, especially when I started my employment life, was to get mentors. When I was at ExxonMobil, I reached out to the senior project manager that I was working under as an apprentice. And I asked him a lot of questions and just mentorship. How do I navigate this environment? I also got a business manager within ExxonMobil. And again, I told him, I want you to mentor me. I want you to guide me. So that helped me have confidence. And always I focused on delivering good quality work so that people didn't see the female, they just saw a professional. Again, I got married. Been working for 2 years. I got married and as the head of the construction, pregnant. And the men, in fact, the construction, the laborers would get so surprised. Like, not only do we now have a female in the construction site, we have a pregnant female. And by the time I was and I got the opportunity to start hiring site managers, I deliberately hired female site managers. Well, not all of them, some were male, some were female. And I remember at one point, the three female engineers were all pregnant. And, I stood there and said, we are pregnant, we are not sick, we can do the job. So you kind of have to develop a thick skin because it is not your gender that gets you into the role, it's your capability. But the challenges are always there. Again, when I started my business in 2017, of course, a young business, not many women in construction have consulting businesses. So whenever I went into the business meetings, whether it was the clients that I was approaching to give me work or the consultants that I was approaching to come and work with me to deliver the service, they were all men. Way older men, men that had been in industry for 30, 40 years. So you get solicited a lot, they try their luck and I'm like, no, I'm here to build my business. So it's an uphill task, but if you stand your ground, because you're there as a professional, not as your gender, always represent your gender, of course, represent it well, but see yourself as a professional first. And you're able to overcome all these challenges that face females in the built environment.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Or even comments, having listened to my story. What do you think? I said, where you're sitting 20 years ago.
Okay, let's ask a question first.
Sure.
Some of what you have comments to make with respect to what you said, because it's a lot we can relate to. My second year, she just gave birth and she had also been a civil engineer for a decade plus. So she can totally relate to what you're saying. Having been pregnant and going on site, like I remember going to check out on site, on one of our construction sites, and she was very heavily pregnant. I think that was her first child. So yeah, it's a lot that we can totally relate to. But then first of all, someone has one more question.
Sure. More questions is okay, no problem.
Your name? My name is Ifoma.
Can you speak louder, please?
Okay. My name is Ifoma. I graduated 2021 civil engineering. Please, can I know your social handle, like LinkedIn, Instagram?
Can you do what? Sorry.
She's asking for your social handle.
No, I can give you. Yes, I'll share. I asked my colleague to forward my profile. I will share.
Yeah.
I'll share my LinkedIn. I'll share my email. You can reach me, no problem. I'll share my WhatsApp number, no problem. You can reach me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The profile that we will have shared, if we follow the course of the event, had a LinkedIn handle. That is her biography. So when she shares her WhatsApp number and email, then we'll as well all this to everybody. All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Do you want to make a comment?
I'll just put an add-on.
Okay. Hello, Rose. My name is
Hello.
Rebecca.
Nice to meet you.
Civil engineer. And I just wanted to put an add-on to the comment that you made that we are first professionals. And I just wanted to say that never use your feminism as a crutch or an excuse to deliver poor work or anything. Own your profession, just like she said. She was at par with her fellow male colleagues. Never give them a reason to doubt your capability as a woman, and see them as colleagues and not competitions. I always would tell the people I worked with that I don't use sentiments to do work. Work is work, right? Just like measurements are measurements. 5 meters is 5 meters. There's no, it's 5 meters because it's in this area, and it's not 5 meters because it's in this area. No, 5 meters is 5 meters in the air, on the ground, wherever you carry 5 meters is 5 meters. So that's how it should be for you. Yeah, a civil engineer, you're a civil engineer. You're not female, male. The moment you start to allow such sentiments affect your work, then you allow the male dominance of the field gets to. I worked with so many elderly men that I had to supervise that had issues with the fact that I was a young female engineer supervising them. I went through stuff like that on site, and you know, all I would tell them is that, man, okay, there's no sentiment. It's either you do the work or I don't okay your work, because at the end of the day, if your work doesn't pass my table, then it doesn't pass at all, and you'll be in trouble with your own contractor, right? We sublet some of our work, so I was supervising those contractors. And I think eventually they will come around, they will get to see that, okay, this person is in it for the work and not to be bullied or to be sentimental about it. Just go as professional as possible. You know your work, you do it, and you do it professionally, because that's exactly what you're here to do. So that's the add-on I just wanted to add.
Yeah, very, very true, very true. Yeah. So to maybe you'll allow me just 2 minutes, maybe just some parting shot for me before I drop off.
Okay.
To the young women in the room, welcome to an exciting profession. The world of engineering, the built environment is exciting. 3 things. Know your stuff, you know, keep learning, keep growing. You've had how many? I never stop learning. I'm still going through certifications. Even now, I'm actually seeking certification in PPP, public-private partnerships, because that is the future of infrastructure development in Africa. And I want to be at the forefront of the advisors for those that will be developing PPP projects. So keep growing your profession, keep seeking more education, more qualification, so that you become really good at what you do. Secondly, mentorship. This is already an opportunity. I can see what you're doing to maybe this mentorship. Seek more mentors, keep asking, keep learning, keep growing. And lastly, be confident. Don't be your gender, just be a professional. So those are my parting shots, and I just want to say thank you again to Mebi for inviting me to the session today.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I'm truly honored to have you. And this has been exactly what we hoped it to be. It's a pleasure meeting you in person. It's a pleasure having to converse with you in person, and we look forward to having more conversations with you in the nearest future. Enjoy the rest of the day, and please try to rest. Then you'll be having meetings since 5 a.m. You should please learn to take a break.
I will. I'll go for some spa treatment with my girlfriends. I've dropped my WhatsApp number and my LinkedIn profile on the chat. You can share that with the girls.
Okay, all right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the session.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. And how do I share the slide? Okay, I can't do it on the laptop. What? There's another account logged in to this laptop. This is strictly business, so I don't want to meddle. Do you have a flashlight? Okay, so let me just quickly do this. I want to project the biography of the two speakers that we had today. That's Rose and the other lady. The other lady, interestingly, had been a member of, she was in the IT team of South African League for 12 years before she now came out. And then she had read electrical engineering as a third degree, then electrical electronics as master's. Then she has now started trying to meddle running a business in engineering. But then coming from that kind of background, it was something that I thought, wow, okay, we would love to hear how she navigated that water. First of all, as an IT person in South Africa, maybe for that long, and then you will see that she grew up the ranks. She did not just, she grew from the lowest rank, and then she went up to, she got to the senior officer, and she now left the Navy, and then now said full-time engineering. And now she because of her love for electrical, she's focusing more now on solar and alternative power. So she's working as an engineering manager in a solar company in South Africa. And I think that was just very interesting. That's someone I was wanted to hear her story myself. But hey, give me a moment, let me just copy this. So now we are freestyling because we're no longer using timetable. Okay, but then notwithstanding, we're still going to see if we're going to finish by 2, right? Because even if we're freestyling now, a lot of things will be jumped, a lot of things will not be as elaborate as we would have been. So that my mindset is that people who have had other things happen. So just trying to. Sure. Because otherwise, Is it not smart? Hello, you're welcome. Please have a seat. Sorry, because now we're projecting here. Let me just try and log in. You're ready to see another screen. Run and log in. Okay, so while I'm trying to connect, please just to let us know that this new cards and environment is for the career mapping session. Right, so we're going to have a session very shortly where it's an exercise, hands-on exercise, right? Where you have to write for yourself, and then where we do career journal on it, because after today, we hope that you've now used that to journal your career experience. So how it's going, you're able to appraise yourself to say, okay, February 23rd, 2023, I said I wanted to get here in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. Have I gotten here? How to journey there? Do you understand? It's a way of tracking your progress and ensuring that things are going. Short exercise, just to get to know you guys and the way back. Right. So go from what's your name again? You have what you go around like that and get to one another and your journey so far. So you tell us your name, what you studied, and what you're doing. Recording in progress. Right? Exactly. Okay, so how much you do first? Okay, let's get to know you. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mohammed. I'm based in I studied in education and business English. Currently, on stage around the so I said I'm currently what did you English? What did you read? Education and I'm in that program. I graduated from Federal University of Agriculture in 2061. I studied electrical and electronics engineering. Currently doing my NYSC at Sinai University. My name is Halima Ezu. I studied electrical computer for 2019. Currently, I'm having my master's at my university, but also having private class of students
secondary school students on mathematics for mathematics.
Sorry, you graduated
2019.
Okay, everybody. When is the formal ID? Rwanda States. Public civil engineering, projected last 2021. I'm currently working in major class construction company in Anambra State, but I kind of expect for leads and so this program.
Good afternoon. My name is Grace Alfie. I'm an engineer. I'm studying clinical education in Ahmed Bello University there. I'm still a student, so my I'm not really doing anything more stuff for the learning right now. So I'm on the entrepreneurial path at the moment. So I think that.
So what do you do? What business do you do?
What do you intend to? I started my fashion path. I'm trying to start a fashion business.
So are you still learning?
I'm still learning, and I'm also specialized in my field of education because my specialized right now under the fashion design. So I'm also getting on to school and outside school for my fashion design.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Victoria Omobi. I graduated in 2019 as a medical doctor, but I got interested in the tech and ICT because of my siblings. I have two brothers who are into software engineering and this, and I just picked up interest. And I'm taking some courses there. And currently, I'm taking some courses on data analytics and software engineering. Those are what's interested. And I'm very well with
As a doctor. So you're a graduate of medicine?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's it there.
We have royalty in our midst. Okay, very nice to meet everybody. I think from time to time it's very good to hear ourselves in these things so that we have a visual of where we're coming from and where we're headed. And if it makes sense in the direction we are taking ourselves, so that when we hear the stories of others and how they are able to align themselves, like take Rose for example, she went from what she studied, right, and phased into management before entrepreneurship, right, and what she is in currently is as a result of what she studied, so there's nothing really out of line in her progression. Not to say anything or downplay the medical transforming or transiting from medicine to ICT. We have ICT in med, so eventually you can apply your knowledge that you get now in data analytics, right, and engineering and ICT and see how it can be tied to what you started off with, because I'm sure something made you choose medicine. So there was a love for it, right? It wasn't just only if it's the case of someone chose your career for you and you're trying to change your career path into now what you know. Here is the difference, right? As you can see, you started off with this, you thought you could manage it and couldn't, but you realized that you have a test for this, right? So then you can try your journey before. Don't just do it because you hear, this is bringing money, or this is what this is about. No, you have to be intentional in making your decisions. Something must guide your decision making. If I'm going into data analytics, how does this help what I originally want to be? So at the end of the day, you might see that Omomi will end up as a medical administrator. Yeah, because their ICT knowledge and data analytics knowledge will come into play as an administrator, not necessarily practicing the medicine and entry, into all of them, what they call sorry, exactly. She doesn't necessarily have to consult as a medical practitioner, but she can be an administrator, right? I have an elder sister who studied medicine and climbed all the way as a surgeon, all the way, and now she is an administrator, heading an entire region, right? You never know where it gets you, but you have to tie your ropes properly to lead you to where you intend to go. Yes. So from time to time, I think it's good in such environment to just say out your journey so far. Even if it's okay, like take myself for instance, I am a civil engineer. I've practiced civil engineering for almost 10 years, right? Or more than once, or about, right? And I took a break. I'm in my break right now because I'm growing my family. So I'm giving birth to like 3 children. I used the first one to do site work, yes. But after that, I stopped to do farming. And in my stopping, because of with the way I am, you can't keep me in one place just dormant or not doing anything. So I engaged my skills. Right? I have a lot of hand skills. So I make research, right? Like this, I make this I bought, or this I make, right? I make okay, I went into farming also. When I got back from my Lagos job, I went into farming. So I was farming alongside the job I got when I got back from Lagos. Because I took a job in Lagos just for, it was a contract job and I came back to Abuja, right? So you have other things alongside that you want to do aside your main course, right? Your main profession. So here I am, a civil engineer, but I have agricultural experience, right? I have hand work experience. And this is all me testing the waters of entrepreneurship, right? I need to know if I'm able to manage things, manage my own personal projects. So instead of just sitting down and saying, okay, I'm a housewife for now, I delve into all of these things, testing the waters, seeing where it could get me, right? Because I have other dreams aside just being a civil engineer. And knowing that, okay, management is sort of like, it comes to me very easily. If you tell me to organize anything, project management is just very interesting. So I'm like, oh, hey, I reach out to Jamie, I'm like, see, chick, change something? Is there something that upsets you about Nigeria, right? And it has to do with what you're doing as an engineer, as an IT person, as a home economics person, as a teacher, right? How Rose's journey went. She was sought after even by her government because she had made such tremendous difference in her field. This is what you should be thinking about, right? If you need to get the knowledge as regards your own area of sustainability, like as an engineer, you should be looking into infrastructure, because that's one of the sustainable development SDG, yes, projects of the UN. So I'll advise that you go through each and every one of their goals. Areas, so that at the end of this, you are, like you said, know your stuff. Don't read information that will clog your storage, right? And it's useless to gather knowledge that is very, very important to the path. Take it seriously. That's why I said be intentional. So just when you get home, Google the UN SDG goals, right? If you need to write it down, write it down. Google it and see where you fit in and begin to chart your path. Begin to look for all the certifications that you will need to achieve your goal. UNSDG goal.
Okay, so I think I forgot to add that when I was using it, aside my job, I also I do this SDG volunteering work, but I'm focused on climate change, then gender equality, that's goal 5, and also partnership for good, that's the last goal. I think that was what I meant. This guy.
I said I was going to even find out, and it's good that you just mentioned the partnership one, because I would like you to expand on it. That's one of the goals that I have no knowledge about, or what it really is trying to achieve. So what is the partnership goal?
Okay, partnership for the goals. We have 17 SDG goals. So the last one is everybody coming around. For example, she has interest in goal 8 as economic growth. She has interest in goal 6, clean water sanitation. Maybe have interest in goal 1. Yes, that's the level community.
Let's put it out. So I'll put it out so that I'll just list it out for you guys.
Sustainable communities and cities, that's the level. Maybe I'm interested in that, then we come together, then we collaborate to know how we can. Yes, we can come together and find a solution to that problem. For example, we can focus on quality education. If we're coming into quality education and you are into that's infrastructure. Yes, that's infrastructure. Then you can enlighten us. You can work together with somebody that is interested in, for example, maybe climate change, climate action movement. So you look for ways that you can come together into. Just the way you said, you look for ways how to dive in. You say you're going to you were into site work before, but now you're into management, but you're still on the same path. Yes, so that's how the partnership for the goals work. Looking for people that are into the 17, yes, for working together to achieve a particular aid.
Okay, so I'll quickly list out all the goals, just so you. So we have, okay, goal 1, no poverty. 0, hunger. Goal 2, 3, good health and well-being. 4, quality education. 5, gender equality. 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable and clean energy. That's what we talked about just now, and that's what prompted what I was to say, do what I did. Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduce inequality. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water. 15, life on land. 16, peace and justice, strong institutions. 17, partnership to achieve the goal. So in your chatting, just be intentional. Don't look at what is trending or this looks very interesting. No. Be very specific so that you're not just doing things and at the end of the day, when you put all your cards on the table, they don't tally with one another. Just be intentional in choosing your path. And like she said, look for mentors. So even if you're starting from a student level and saying, okay, I just graduated, I'm a civil engineer, what should I do, honestly? Because I'm not ready to have issues with guys on site or whatever it is. You have to come clean with yourself, right? And say, okay, I'm not ready to be standing inside sun. I don't want to be that sort of engineer. So what other thing can a civil engineer do? You know, these are things you should ask yourself. And at the end of the day, just pick what is most favorable, what you know you can do well, master it, and you never know where that will lead. So thank you for introducing yourself and giving us your information. I handle that.
Thank you. Okay, so I really like how things have turned out. I really like how things have played out, I would say naturally, including some things that are happening behind this computer screen. It's interesting to see that, and it's someone that I talk to a lot, right? So she will tell anyone that, okay, she has been my friend for about 20 years now.
Or more.
Yeah. So different levels of conversations. For A, it's more, okay, I'm starting out providing. For her, it's more, I want to do this thing, this is what I think. How do you think? What I just and more rubbing minds. Now, there's something I want to say when it comes to career building. As much as it's good to have mentors, it's good to have peers. Yes. It's good to have people that, for me, one of my biggest drive was always that I do not want to become successful alone. Because they say success is a very lonely place. So I want to be successful and I want to look around and see all familiar faces around me, see my friends from way back. That has been a major drive for me. So if you've ever seen all those beads on my hand, if I hear my friends are into anything, and they're number one customer. Because I'm like, let's be going, let all of us be going together. But then when it comes to career, there's something that I've always complained about, the fact that, case in point, the term UI UX is everywhere now. Everybody is doing UI UX. Everybody is switching from, I know someone that was, I know someone that has been a very excellent hairdresser. Like, she was a hairdresser with a difference. So now documenting my UI UX journey, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking that,
some of us are very lame.
okay, sorry, UI UX is like a field in ICT, right? It's basically all the apps and all the websites that you use runs on UI UX. UI stands for user interface, UX stands for user experience. So it's a blend of building an experience on every app or website where it's easy for the users to use. There's some, I don't know if anybody has noticed those sites that a few sites that you go to and your head is just telling you don't understand why your head is telling you, because everything you're looking, everything you want, you have to look for it. You have to constantly look for it and go around. There's no site map. That's because the UI UX is for. Or I don't know if you've noticed some sites that you browse on your phone a lot and you just realize your thumb has helping you, because the main buttons that are within what we call thumb reach are far. So you're now stretching your thumb too much. And after a few hours, just realize your thumb are hurting. UI UX. Do you understand? So there are many people now that are into UI UX. Okay, it's interesting, it's good, but if everybody becomes a developer, if everybody goes into UI UX, if everybody goes into data analysis, or if everybody goes into project management, who will handle the others? So my drive here, or my vision here, is find a career path that defines you. Find a career path that, and I totally love the fact that the government of Kenya went to look for it. Yeah. She was building her career path based on her passion. She enjoyed engineering, so she was building a career path based on engineering. Then the government realized, okay, so we need professionals out there. I always brag about this, my friend. If you've ever driven on, anybody that has driven on Uber Express with me, when we are driving past the certain point, we're like, my friend built this road, my friend built, because she was one of the people that built Uber Express. So it's for me like, yo, or Army Hospital. Airport Road. I'm like, my friend was part of the people. I mean, again. So my friend was part of the people that built this infrastructure. It was, I remember then when she was doing the Army Hospital admin club, that's when she started farming. So it was on Lugbe Express. Her farm was in Kuje. She would leave during her break time or after work to go and check her farm. Then she would come back. It was all passion. It was not because they said farming was the in thing. It was not because they said civil engineering was the in thing. It's because she had a passion for what she had a passion for. She was going outside. And now she can tell you this is how it had grown, or this is how she has done about it in the past years. So now, having said so much, sorry, I just said having said so much, and I looked at my screen and I saw e.g. UI UX. That is very okay. I'm going to share my screen now, okay? So that we all just run through post-disabled participants sharing. Should we, this is 12:40, should we take it? What? Okay. So let's just take a quick break. 10 minutes so that you can talk with one another. Yeah. Very important. That's why. That never gets enough of you. 10, 15 minutes. Is that okay? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So let's take a 10, 15 minutes break. Then when we come back, I'm going to try to share my screen. So I'll don't be saying what we're coming back to do. So time starts now. 10 or 15 minutes, what do you agree? 10. Okay, so we are coming back here by 140. 150, sorry.
your career path from him, or you knew that it's not this kind of supportive person, but you still went for that marriage. So please, I just want some, you know, we ladies, we keep much things to ourselves. If they can just give us one of the tips to look forward to, you understand? Because you cannot see the progressing without not carrying this kind of people around. Most especially say when you see the female that excel more in the marital home, when you check into their life, you see that the husband is a down. Because there are some men that they will be the one pushing you forward. Do you know this thing is not hard? Why can't you ask this today? But in a situation when you don't have this kind of person, you do just forget your career like that and focus on the marriage. How do you manage that situation? On marital aspects.
Okay. I would answer that very quickly by saying, quoting someone. So first, when Facebook became Facebook, like it is right now, the CEO, sharing of Stanford or something like that. I was president of she said, the choice of family is one of the biggest career decisions you ever have to make. People don't see that way. People don't consider that. But if you really check it, so the choice of who you settle down with is one of the biggest career decisions you ever make. This is my friend Josepha. I told you when she was doing the Nigerian army, when she was 17, doing the Nigerian army, and she had a farm, and that's when she was pregnant for her first child. There were days when her husband would say, okay, you know what, just face your work or go to the farm for you. Her husband's office is like summer. He would drive during the great time from Tama to Kogi, inside Kogi, to go and do one or two things on our farm. And he would drive back to work and continue doing it. And when she did that, she was like, oh no, can I include family? I was like, I don't want to continue together. He took it upon himself. And that's what I was saying. So when people never realize it's easy to think, it's easy to dream, say as women, it's very easy to dream, I want to become this, I want to become that, I want to become that. And then you never put in perspective what this former Facebook CEO said, that your choice of partner is one of the biggest career decisions you ever make. You never put that in perspective. You're just dreaming and you know that. It's reality, okay. I don't know if I've answered. In my attempt to answer the question was good enough. Okay, so let me go back to sharing the screen. I cannot do it. Okay. Welcome back. I said the session makes me more hands-on, right? So it's not just talk. We had a good conversation. I actually like how the conversations happen, right? But then more than the conversations, how do we actually chart a clear path? I'll start by introducing who we are. You can see on the screen there are two logos. There's the LinES and Tech, and there's the Ours Band. Ours Band is a registered organization with a CAC, but then we have three projects. Okay, that's not here. We have three projects. We have the LinES and Tech, which, as you can see, means ladies in engineering, science, and technology. Right? Okay. So it's leader. There's LinES and Tech, and then there's the Wines and Tech. The Wines and Tech is for women that have already started a career women that have already stayed growing up the ladder. So it's not that they're trying to chart a path, that they've already found, okay, this is where I'm headed. And then there's the our showcase, we call it, where we just showcase women that are doing exceptionally well in their fields, right? So those are the big projects of our band. But here we are gathered under the project of the lines and tech outreach. So everything from the printouts and the roll of banner, you see lines and tech outreach. The invitation had lines and tech outreach because that is a project under our band. The goal of this outreach is, okay, like I think I just narrated this literally, is to equip young ladies who are either undergraduate or fresh graduates of courses in science, engineering, and technology with the technical know-how needed to excel. Now, the emphasis on what we're doing here today is for ladies in engineering or ICT, science or tech. But then, does it mean that the ladies that are here that are neither engineers nor in ICT don't have a skill? No, because what we are doing, for instance, today is career path. Whatever field you find yourself, it's needed for you to chart a career path. And like I think, I don't know whether it was you or one of the couples I work with in the office, and I told them to see what has helped me for the years. People look at me and say, how did you get here so fast? How did you, people I served with, right? I say this with all humility, even if I smile about it. A classmate of mine in secondary school ran into me in secretariat when we had a meeting with the directors and all, and he was the one serving those drinks. People say things like, how did you manage to run as fast as you did, being that you were a woman in a male-dominated field? When Rose was talking about how she walks into a meeting, she's the only woman in a meeting. That was my life for the whole of 13 years. You see me on site, you see me doing, I'm an IT field. I've been in the IT field all my life, from server, I used to configure servers, networking, all of that. I used to climb masts, I used to be a wireless engineer. That was my experience. I loved wireless engineering. It was cool. But I was really late there. And I was the only lady. There were times when, like my friend actually said, she had a similar experience. When I'm managing a team of people that are older than me, men older than me, let me put that away. People have asked me, how did you manage it? Because it was scenarios where a funny scenario I like to share. So one of my wireless sites were asked to do like a wireless, wireless cloud on an entire campus, a very big campus. And normally before I do that, I do my network design and I have my implementation plan, everything on paper. I share with my team and I tell my team, this is what I need to do. These are the devices I need. I tell my boss that device I need to buy to come to and all of that. So they gave me a team of 3 guys I had trained. I trained them. They didn't know anything about wireless before they came on board. I trained them. And then I shared my site plan with them and my design. And I told them, I need you to mount this antenna here, this antenna there, this antenna there. They climbed the mast and believed what was in their minds. Instead, because they saw something different on YouTube. And I was there on site 3 weeks. What people knew me for then was that if I tell you this project will take me 2 months, you can be sure that worst case scenario is instead of 8 weeks or be done in 7 weeks. That was what people knew me for. And here I was on site for almost 3 weeks trying to figure out why I was not achieving what my design showed me that I could achieve. And I now sat them down and I realized that they climbed up the mast and they did what was in their mind. So I climbed the mast by myself. A 120 feet mast. You don't want to know how high that is. I climbed that mast by myself. See, all of them are looking at me because they had heard that I used to climb mast. to mount antenna. They had heard that I used to run cables. They had heard all of that, but they had never seen me because they knew me as this manager that would train and teach and all of that. I kind of a massive with my laptop under my hand. You know how stressed that was. Like I didn't have any guard, nothing. Because on that side, I was not meant to be doing that. So I went up without protection, no guard, nothing. I had my laptop under my armpit and just like, oh. Went to the main antenna at the base station, changed the configuration to what my site design says, did everything according to my site design, changed the password, shut everybody out, came back down the mat. They were just looking at me. Went back to the server room, reconfigured everything just as my site design, and by that evening I was blasting through the entire campus. Then in front of the ICT director, like, now this is what I set up to be holding. Right? I went through all of that stress. And people, it didn't make sense to anybody, like, why should a lady be stressing herself? But now I sit in offices, I sit in front of people, and I'm dissecting network issues or ICT related issues. And the first thing that I asked is, how did you build that knowledge? And I was out there. But that is all. And in the rain, like anyway. I was out there literally building the capacity. I did not say, I'm a woman, no, take it like my first boss, Bisa, then it was this big dishes. He will call me in the morning, remember to wear jeans when you're coming to the office because I don't have a woman on my side. So you see me using spanners and everything, trying to deal with that. No panic, no deal, no this one. All of us are doing together. When it comes to network design, and I see people showing like, really? Is this what you're struggling about? Because it's a walk in the park for me. I built all of that, not starting from the top. I think it was, I can't remember one of, I have some couples that work just finished service earlier this month. And I was telling one of them, I said, the fact that someone told me that I'm a true caller made me say that to be the project manager. I start mentioning projects I've done, federal projects, state projects. I told someone, I said, this next cash and carry that falls down. We did that. That was when e-commerce was in Nigeria. We did their e-commerce site, but all the recommendations I did for them, they did not adhere to it. If they only did that, they would have been live in a way that even now that their shop is down, they will still be selling online. When did we do that? I think it was 2017, 2016. That's what we did. Then only main e-commerce people were Jumia, Konga, and Google Pig. They were the main e-commerce people. Others were still struggling and trying. But then I say this to say, the fact that people now are associated with IT project management is because I was telling the corporate that works with me that I grew from the lowest, people don't hear about that rank anymore, PMO admin. I grew from PMO admin up to where I am right now. That I was speaking to a friend in the UK and I was like, you're actually in the cadre that we read about in project management because you find many project managers, but I'm actually a portfolio manager right now. Because if you give me one project to manage, like this as I am, is that you want to keep me involved. Give me 3-4 projects, now we are talking. Give me 2-3 nationwide federal projects, now we are talking. Because that's my comfort zone now. It's no longer in the little zone. So when I say it's advisable that we build, it's that while you're doing that, you're building your capacity. And everybody that has ever worked with me will tell you one thing about me, and I always say, what should you do with your home? See how Seka was talking about civil engineering, agri, this big making that she's there doing. if you see her researching, like honestly researching into the lines, what kind of beads, how to mix the different texture of beads. Okay, so I can mix beads with this one. There was one time we went to Randstad City Market, she was looking for wristwatch buckle. That is the way she wants to blend it with beads and if you hear talking about agriculture, I remember the biggest farm she had before she stopped farming. I watched her treat the soil, everything, and then she was just telling me now during lunch when we were having snacks that so cold. I was saying that I remember she used to farm vegetables, ugu, water leaf, and all of that. She dries them and then exports them. Or the ones she's not exporting, she sells. So market women come to her farm to buy it from her farm. That was what she used to do. And then she used to make her money weekly. That was the beautiful thing about it. So you know that on a weekly basis, money is coming in. You're not waiting for the end of the month. And then she said someone called and I was trying to say, I remember that I used to do agriculture, I needed it. And I was sitting her there in that kitchen and I said, that was consultant, that was free consultancy you just did. Because they were now looking for her lot of, she was speaking out of what she knows. See Rose that spoke to us earlier. Trust me when I say if you want to dream her on her field, she will talk very naturally. She's not thinking, okay, no, wait, no. She will talk to you very naturally. That's because, again, that's someone that has grown. You know, we're ladies in this room, so I can use this example. You know when you want to cook meat and you leave it to marinate, so that the flavor will enter inside. That's time. That kind of meat is sweeter than the one that just throw the meat, throw the sauce, cook, don't meat. The flavors are different. That one that you left for another, when you squeeze, it's just a contact. Please tell me the truth. Same thing, when you take your time to go, when you squeeze, when you get to a point, I think it was in this room, okay, so this is our West Bank's office, right here, but then this is called Sustainable Innovation Hub. So they help businesses, that's why you see business model canvas and all of that. They help businesses. One of the meetings we had here, Founders Day, in this room, I gave an example of what I heard. I said, someone said they needed in a factory, one of their big machineries had an issue. They had called different engineers, they had called different prices, but it was still not working. Then someone said, okay, all these big engineers have been calling, they saw I know down the street, but his own knowledge is different because his knowledge is, when I heard his own knowledge is different, I could relate because allow me to deviate from the story I'm telling you. I did a project in Kano. During that project, we had an issue with my official car, and the mechanic could not quite express what was wrong. But he just cut this Dunlop slippers. He just cut a size, the right size, and put somewhere and did not stop. That's crude knowledge. He could not even express himself, but he knew because he has done that. He has been trained. He has sat there and watched people solve that kind of problem. So this engineer, back to my story, came and looked and called one very big price and said, "This is how much you pay to solve the problem." And then the other said, "See, I've called more educated people and they could not solve this. If you can solve it, I'll give you the full amount you're asking for." He said, "Okay, pay up front." With the upfront, he went to the market and bought something worth like 5,000 or 10,000 naira and came back and just tightened here, tightened there, did this one here, did this one there. And the machine was open. And nobody could believe. Then the people that saw him fix it said, "How can you charge us so much for the little you just did?" He said, "You don't charge me for what I just did. It's the years of experience that showed me what exactly was wrong. That's what we just did." So when we say that in lines and tech, we are building capacity because we want here to engineering technology with the technical know-how needed to excel in their desired career path. That's the whole idea. Now, whatever your career path is, you have the know-how. Now, light and tech is beyond all of this that we're doing here. It's beyond coming and talking and chatting a career path. Our plan is after here, after now, we engage you in training. We have partners that are willing to train you. We have partners that are willing to employ. All they need is, okay, what fields are they in? Are they entry level? Are they mid level? What level are they? Okay, bring them. Because it's a German company that are looking for African talent. Do you understand? So if we're building your technical know-how, it's because that's the end goal. So that you're employable. So that we have more women in the IT space. I, for one, what Rose said that they employ hiring female engineers. I, for one, I'm so happy when I see an IT person, a lady that is into IT, like, yay, my crazy, yay, because most of the lifetime it used to be just me. I look up, no female. I look down, there's no female. I look to my side, there's no female. I was put it on point from the get-go, so hey. But then sometimes you just want to see that feminine energy in the room and not all masculine. And then there are some scenarios after going to managerial level, there were scenarios. There's a project I managed, I think, before the lockdown, just before the lockdown. We're trying to automate the downstream sector of Nigerian petroleum, blah, blah, blah. And I was the only lady on the table. And then one of them asked, hey, Julie, you're the only lady here, so come get the chair and come and serve us. I was like, what? The junior project manager on my team, who they have been calling sir, stood up and said, no, she cannot do that. No, he's not a carry tray. But then there are scenarios like that where by default they think, okay, you're the only lady here, you should be able to. Oh, okay, so one of my sites, when I was in Owerri, one of my sites was Owerri, we rented a project house. Again, I was the only lady. In the project house, there were like 9 other guys. So when the owner of the company came, they're like, why are we buying food? Well, so guys was actually trying to impress the CEO. Why are we buying food when the baby can cook for us? And in front of the CEO, I said, my employment letter did not have cooking. It had wireless project manager. And that's how I changed the topic and I walked away. But people think that way because you're a woman in a male-dominated field. Do you understand? And the CEO actually, he could not, because he came from UK where human rights is a big thing, or women rights. Try it. This guy, we had had one-on-one conversation, so he knew me well enough to know that, man, she's not the kind of person you feel like I'm with. But you have to be able to, hold your ground professionally for people to respect you that much. Are we saying you should be proud and be haughty and rugged? That would be one of the easiest ways to run yourself down. When you start feeling like the guys will run you down to the ground without breaking a sweat. They will run you down. Do you understand? So it's being knowledgeable and it's being able to grow in your niche. So these are our focus areas, like I just said. Light and Tech seeks to create an awareness of career opportunities for African ladies in engineering, science, and tech. We seek to offer the registered ladies pre-professional certifications. So all the PMPs and all the other certifications, we expect you to pay for them. So in the case of we get the grant on your behalf, we say, okay, you know, in that way, you see the forms, registration forms you fill, ask what is your area of study. So that based on your area of study, we can say these are the amount of people we have that can fit into this certification. Okay, partners, can you sponsor 5 people to PMP? Okay, you can. All right, we have the 5 people. These are their credentials. Register them and let them start training for their education. that kind of thing. We hope to create a pool of employable African ladies in engineering and technology. Like I said, one of our partners, as a matter of fact, just signed the MOU, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It's a German company that is looking for African talent. That's just their own. That they have market. They just need African talent that they can hire. So we said, okay, our only criteria is let's train them first of all, so that they are better skilled to fill in this space. And then they still called me as on Monday.
I'm sorry, I have to leave. I just give birth, not like a month, so I have, this is the call. It was nice meeting everybody. And I look forward to working with everybody in the future. And I wish you all good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so when we say create a pool of employable African ladies in engineering and technology, that's actually what we have in mind, because we have partners for that already. Why career planning mapping? Career mapping is a process used for career planning when switching career. Used for career planning or when switching career paths. So for instance, most of us here are starting afresh. When we introduce ourselves, many people said I graduated 2021, I graduated 2019. Do you understand? That means you're still fresh. That means it's still a good time to chart a career path, to have your career planning. For any session will be, people like me that are switching career paths would need this also because they are moving from what they have initially started off from and they are switching to something else entirely. Career maps help employees to think strategically about their career path and how to meet their career goals within the organization rather than leave it and move ahead. Career mapping, also known as career pathing, is a way employers show employees how they can progress within their company. So in this case, we're saying, if your employers are not doing this for you, then let's help you chart a career path, because then it's easier to talk to your HR to say, this is my career path. From this, I should be able to go to this level because this is how we're able to serve the organization better. Do you understand? Trust me, if you go to your HR to say, from this, I should have gone to this, I think it's good I go to this so that I can serve. Then even the HR will start thinking, okay, this person has a organization in mind, which is not the norm for everyone to think about themselves. Just think about themselves, get a salary. Also, bear in mind that many of us are that need to entrepreneurship. This is also something that you can apply to your team. So if you hire someone, look at and we start your hiring to grow in that business. The person is not just doing anything or doing as they feel. It provides an opportunity to examine the skills and strengths you already have and the weaknesses or gaps in your knowledge you may need to address. The format of a career path and career map encourages you to think about your short-term and your long-term goals and to define the steps you need to take to move towards your final goal. Right? So in this session, in the exercise you're going to be having, like that, we have the new parts, we're actually going to be writing down certain things. When we get there, you'll see what you'll be writing down. These are the kind of career paths. So people build their career path based on knowledge. So people build their career path based on skills. So people build their career path based on entrepreneurial ambitions or freelancing. Freelancing is becoming more of a thing now. Especially since after COVID, freelancing always been there, but it became more of a thing after COVID. So some people start their career path along these lines. Steps to career mapping. So this is just an outline of what we're going to be beginning to do. You identify the starting point. Where are you now? What are you doing now? Define what exactly you're doing now. You define your ultimate goal. You set your short and long-term goals. Then you ask for input. Include your lifestyle goals. Then keep checking, keep updating. Because, like I think I was talking to the couple in my office. I said, when I wrote what I wanted to be in the long term, project management was not anything as of that point. The first time anybody ever told me about project management was in 2006 or 2007, the office I worked. Engineer Henry just looked at me and said, you have natural project management tendencies. 2006, 2007, who cared about project management? Who knew what project management was? But what me I wrote when I was a corporate, I wanted to become an IT manager because I saw myself just sitting in the data center, managing servers, then cloud tech becoming a thing. I'm like, let's see where this cloud will go. Are you sure Nigerians can handle cloud? Are you sure? Okay, let's start be learning the cloud. That's how we said learning VLANs and all those. But here we are now. Google Cloud, Apple Cloud. All your devices, even Microsoft Word now, they've gone to the cloud because they have their cloud-based software. Do you understand? So that keep checking in and be flexible because you have to keep updating what the trends are and how things are going. So now let's get to my session. Okay, let's see if we can make this happen in the next 20 minutes. We all have our virus and notepad. So the first thing I want you guys to write in your notepad is with full details, outline where you are now and your current job description. So if you're running a business, that is job description. What are you doing as a business owner? Just define it, fully write it down in your notepad. Write number one. Then just write out your phone. I'm a business owner who manages my shop. I take delivery. I'm a business owner who makes kunu and zobo. After making it, I take it to the shop to sell. Then I do delivery for my customers that are around. That's what you're doing now. If that's not what you're doing, if you're not a business owner, you're an employed person, you write now what you do for your employer. Just scribble that down and with as much details as you can. Are we done? Okay. Okay. Are we done? Yeah. Okay, so number two, I'm going to switch number two and three. I'm going to make number three number two. So the next thing I'm going to write now is in a future job, what would be my priorities? So if where you're working now, for instance, is that you are an administrator, you manage the files and everything, you can say in the future job, I want to be, now I'm managing files, I want to be able to manage people. Is that a future priority? That's a future priority. So many young Nigerians, future priorities right now earning 50,000. Next, I want to earn 1 million naira. They want to move from 50 to 1 million naira. If it's money, it's there. To some people, especially middle management people, is that they want more flexibility. That's where family comes in. When a woman starts having kids, and even before the kids come, once you become a business, there's this feeling as if 24 hours becomes 12 hours. So suddenly, flexible work times become a thing. Because you want to be able to go for school runs without anybody harassing you. You want to be able to close early because your child needs to go for immunization or something, you want to go for the house. Do you understand? So what in your future job, what are the priorities? Write down the priorities. You're reading where you are now. Write down the priorities of the future job. Some of us will need to rewrite all of this afterwards. When you get home, you sit down and rewrite. Do you understand? But for the sake of exercise, we're all playing together. Just write as much as you can. Are we done? Okay. So now the third thing is, now that you've established where you are and created a detailed definition of your endpoints, what steps do you think you need to take between points A and B? So, do you need to, do you need to, okay, so this is an example. First of all, if you say this is your current job, right? What are the skills and attributes needed? Then the fitness and the skill gaps. Are you seeing that? Skill gap is the difference between where you are and where you're going to. What are the things you need to improve?
But this number three is what we need to do.
Yes. What will take you from point A to point D? From where you are now to where you want to get to. So in this case, the weakness and skill gap is no teaching qualification, no experience of teaching in a school. Do you understand? So this person, for instance, now will go and look for a teaching job because that experience will be key in getting the person from point A to point B. Do you understand? Write down what experience you need. Number 4 and 5 are very similar. So now, okay, so now you said the things you need to improve. Now you're saying I will need okay, so if for instance you want to become a software developer, if you want to become a data analyst, the key thing you should do is Python. So you understand? For data analysis too, there's also an app called Power BI by Microsoft. That's advanced data. So you understand? So this is where you start writing all the courses. You need to take a course. You need to volunteering, you need to volunteer with certain organizations to build a skill. Do you need to take management courses? Do you need to understand? This is when you start writing courses. I was going to go last 4 and 5 together. So I just jump into the courses. If you start thinking in terms of the courses, then in doing that you're building a skill. So for instance, if I take it's only for Scrum Master. Scrum is usually for software development project. So if I take a Scrum Master course, I am building my skill as a software development project manager by default. Because if you apply for a project, software development project management position, one of the first things they'll ask you is Scrum certification. Do you understand? So what courses do you need to take you from point A to point B? When I started delving into entrepreneurship, one of the first things I did was to do a diploma in entrepreneurship. And you see, if we show the bio of the 3 of us, the lady that was in the Navy, Rose and myself, at some point we all left our core engineering. My background is physics and electronics. I have FET. Yeah, it's FET. We did 5 years of physics with a sprinkle of electronics on top. Right, that was the physics electronics. So me going into IT was a normal thing because it was kind of along the same line. But then to be able to run a business or to be able to go into the business terrain, you see at some point we all did something entrepreneurship. We all had to learn that because entrepreneurship was not the thing then when we started. Then anybody they see certificate, it doesn't have to be cool. Now you see on the battery, you see your people saying how to see because business ownership is now more for the trend and it's available. So what courses do you need to take? If you know the name of the course, just write what you want to describe the course. Because it's now part of what will help you to find out what courses that align with what you are writing now. Right? Are you ready? Okay, so the last thing you get is a short-term goal. My career goal for the next year includes the last thing a short-term goal. My career goal for the next year includes what's your goal for the next year. What can you do to better yourself in line with how you see yourself developing in the next year? I know that year is very fast. January was very short. Everything feels shorter. Let's hope that March doesn't very soon. Because now we're saying Merry Christmas. Now we're about to say Happy New Month. But then next we'll be saying Happy New Month. So if you're saying next year, bear in mind that next
another. Have a goal, short-term goal. Okay. Have you been able to write that down? So in line with what has been written down, this is actually all for the exercise. What you have written in number 2, right? Look at what you have written in number 2. In the next, let's say 5 minutes, bring out your phone and type the keywords in what you wrote in number 2 and put your description at the back. So for instance, if, or rather in which one was that? Yeah, future job impact. Sorry, the courses. Right, so for instance, if you wrote that you want to do a course in back-end development, right? Or you want to do a course in, sorry, I'm just saying lots of IT and engineering because that's my course, right? That's my expertise. But then if, let me try and think of something that is like that. Business analysis. If business analysis was one of the courses that you wrote that you need to do, now Google business analysis job description. Just Google it now. Oh, sorry, job roles. So that if you Google job roles, now it gives you the name of the roles, possible roles. Do you understand? Give me one of these. For that one, when we said courses, what courses do you need to be on? Python. Okay, so write Python job role. Just Google it and see what comes out. It should give you a role that will meet that course. You get what I'm trying to say, but so that you now have an idea of what, so even if you're applying, you now have a better idea of what you're applying for. I know many people apply for jobs because of how much they hear that job is going to pay, not because it's in line with what they want to do. It's business management.
What is control regime. Okay, control regime. At the same time, we need knowledge.
Yeah. Control engineering, okay, yes.
And also, I'm very interested on control and AI, this artificial intelligence. So basically, I need the foundation coding.
So okay, in your own case, you already know what foundations you need. Do you understand? So it's now a case of what are the, because now you're saying control engineering and AI. What are the job roles in control engineering and AI? Do you understand? Is it AI manager? Is it AI developer? You get what I'm trying to say? What are the job roles in that? That is a field. Electrical engineer is
engineering is a field. It's controlling electrical,
Yes.
control systems.
Yeah. That's what I'm mentioning.
Do you understand? I'm just trying to say that is another field. Under if you specialize in electrical engineering, if like me, you read physics, electronics, control systems engineer is a thing.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
For me now, I did my first degree BTech, right? I now did my master's in information systems. You can see there's control system, there's information systems. Those are two different things, but they're in the same field.
Currently, I'm doing a master's in control.
Those are fields. So now I try to get job roles in those fields. That's the essence of this exercise. So if you're able to get job roles in those fields, then we can now start training you based on those job roles. When any of our partners should say, okay, we have, like right now as I'm sitting here, we have a partner that is willing to train on data analysis. Data analysis, he said product development, and there are three: data analysis, product development, and something else. I'll check the third one. Do you understand? And he's waiting for this event to be over. He has already sent a message this morning for a meeting later this evening to find out how many people are he taking to train in these courses. You get what we're trying to do here? So that once we're able to identify that these are the fields you will be trained in, then we're going to take okay, we already have your names and your numbers. Just and okay, we have names and numbers of people that are registered, but I'd like to start with the people here now. Do you understand? To see, okay, this person is, especially those people, the Germans that said they are willing to take entry level. Entry level means you have 0 skills. If you take a job at entry level, it means that you have 0 skills and they are willing to train you without paying you salary. So if they are willing to do that, let's know what skills we are going to see we have this people in. You get what we're trying to achieve here? Okay. I'm going to round that up in 3 minutes. 5 minutes, 75 minutes. What are you supposed to write? No, okay, so what you're going to do is, I assume all of you got a text message this morning. No. Okay, so we're thinking of a scenario where I'll give you the number, you text it to that number. Do you understand? If you didn't get a text message, we'll give you the number, you text what the job roles are, the job roles you came up with. You text it to that number, we'll be getting back to you. This is election weekend, by next week. Because we are officially, after today, the only reason why we're still open till today, that is my office, is because of this event. So I have people still running things, and once I say the event is over, everybody's stacking their bags and they're leaving, right? So till after election. So I'll say we'll get back to you by this time next week. By God's grace, everything turns out fine. This time next week, based on the job roles you text back to us, you'll get a feedback. So this is the career mapping. You understand? This is how you're able to just map based on your strengths and your weaknesses. You see, you said by identifying your strengths and then what you need to improve on. And then the courses you need to take to improve those things. And then now we're here again, you're now trying to find job roles that tally with where you're headed to. What is it? I know it's be very straight to the point and basic exercise, but then the idea of it, as I said at the beginning, is for people that either start their careers or switching career paths. So what you've done now, let's say you want to change from a career path to another career path, advise you to take these things next. Right? Just appraise, okay, this is an event, am I equipped? What do I need to equip myself? You know. Any questions? So this is the fact I get to cut this off. I should take it again. I should take it again. Okay, so um, sign up attendees. To write data scientist. If I get a job that needs entry level data scientist, the value call and say, hey, send me your certification. What you have. If while you're being hired, we get a training like their IBM course. And then what we try to do for the certifications is, yes, we'll first of all do trainings, basic trainings, but then the aim of our band as a community is certified, professionally certified. It's our belief that if you take a PMP, for instance, anywhere in the world, it's PMP. If you take a Cisco certification to anywhere in the world, it's Cisco certification. If you take a Nigerian-based certification to anywhere in the world, they will ask you which one is this one? Because it's not globally recognized. So the certifications we are empowering our community with is global certifications, professional certifications. If we get a list of people, if we get a partner that says, or a sponsor that says, okay, we're willing to sponsor 10 PMP people, we'll go through our database and say, okay, we have only 8 people that are willing to get PMP. These are their details. Do you understand? That's actually the idea and what we're about. So while I'm just trying to explain that the last thing here says sign up of attendees for subsequent trainings. That's what we'll be doing after now. I'll get back to you by next week. So other than that, close my screen. I'll put that thank you screen. Okay. The last thing on the agenda is pictures and refreshments. So we just get to snap, we getting certain pictures, or just take one picture with the roller banner for the stage cheese, and then make that our backdrop on social media. Just joking. What you get? Yes. The refreshments were meant to come after now. Oh, the thing is that. Okay, so since we have extra refreshments, we can still have refreshments after the picture taking. Yes, so you can just go with that.
So, just, I have a question here. What if we have double jobs, you know, client executive?
It doesn't have to be one. We can have to do it, doesn't have to be one.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, which one?
Some people, like, she would understand when they don't have options. Just you have this, you're thinking this or that, you're not very, you cannot be late that will not sit down with you one-on-one and help you clarify out of this and that, which one should be primary, which should be secondary. Just but then you text your name, right? Because we don't have names associated with phone numbers. That's the way the text message was sent out. I think it was you that called out, that this was your name.
Yes, yes.
Because the way it's showing, it until we go to the registration form, that we see the name, the phone number, the email, and everything. But on the system, we send out the text messages. It's not, so if you text it with your name, you're able to type string it together. Thank you very much for coming. It's been an honor hosting you guys today. I look forward to having more interactions with you. We will keep you updated on what the next, like I said, definitely hear from us within the next week. Definitely. And then how we'll take it up from there and all of that will be communicated to everyone. Thank you.